The Hermetic tradition, rooted in the ancient wisdom attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, is a cornerstone of Western esotericism. This body of knowledge, believed to date back to ancient Egypt and Greece, profoundly influenced the development of alchemy, Gnosticism, and other mystical and philosophical traditions. The essence of Hermetic philosophy is encapsulated in the Seven Hermetic Principles, which serve as fundamental laws or truths governing the universe. These principles are described in the Kybalion, a work published in 1908 by 3 anonymous authors known as the Three Initiates. The 7 principles are: 1. The Principle of Mentalism. 2. The Principle of Correspondence. 3. The Principle of Vibration. 4. The Principle of Polarity. 5. The Principle of Rhythm. 6. The Principle of Cause and Effect. And 7. The Principle of Gender. Understanding these principles is essential for anyone seeking to grasp the mechanics of reality, the structure of consciousness, and the spiritual laws that govern both the physical and metaphysical realms. This comprehensive analysis explores each principle in depth, revealing their interconnected nature and their implications for the individual and the cosmos. 1. The Principle of Mentalism. The first and most fundamental Hermetic principle is that of mentalism, which states, "The all is mind, the universe is mental." This principle posits that everything that exists, both visible and invisible, is a manifestation of a universal, infinite, and intelligent mind. In this view, the universe and all that it contains are essentially thoughts or mental creations of this cosmic mind. It is important to note that the all is not a personal God in the traditional sense but rather an impersonal, all-encompassing force that transcends human concepts of deity and form. This concept of the all indicates that the universe is a mental construct, and everything within it is connected through this universal consciousness. The physical realm, according to this principle, is not separate from the spiritual or the mental. Rather, it is an expression of the mind of the all. This notion challenges materialistic views of reality, suggesting instead that the nature of existence is fundamentally non-material and that the fabric of reality is intertwined with consciousness. For the individual, understanding the principle of mentalism implies that one's thoughts and consciousness directly influence their perception and experience of reality. The human mind is a microcosm of the universal mind, and by aligning oneself with higher states of consciousness, one can tap into the limitless creative power inherent in the all. The mastery of thought and mental discipline becomes, therefore, a crucial aspect of self-transformation and spiritual evolution. 2. The Principle of Correspondence. The second principle, correspondence, is expressed as above, so below, as below, so above. This principle highlights the symmetry between different planes of existence, indicating that the laws that govern one level of reality are reflected in others. In Hermetic philosophy, the cosmos is divided into various planes: physical, mental, and spiritual, and these planes are interconnected and mirror each other in fundamental ways. This principle implies that by studying the patterns, behaviors, and laws of one plane, one can gain insights into the others. For instance, understanding the laws of the physical world can provide clues about the workings of the mental and spiritual realms. This interconnectedness reveals that everything in the universe is linked through a web of correspondences, where every action or event on one plane resonates and has repercussions across the others. For the Hermetic student, the principle of correspondence serves as a powerful tool for spiritual growth and understanding. By recognizing and applying the correspondences between the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, the self, one can work towards aligning themselves with the universal laws, thereby achieving balance and harmony. This principle is often used in esoteric practices such as astrology, alchemy, and magic, where practitioners seek to manipulate the forces of the cosmos through the understanding of their correspondences. 3. The Principle of Vibration. The Principle of Vibration states, "Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates." This principle asserts that motion is inherent to all things in the universe. Atoms, particles, energy, thoughts, and even spiritual entities are all in a constant state of vibration. This continuous movement is the essence of existence, and the frequency or rate of vibration determines the nature and state of each entity. According to this principle, the differences between various forms of matter, energy, and even states of consciousness are all due to differences in vibration rates. For example, solid objects vibrate at a lower frequency compared to liquids and gases. Similarly, emotions and thoughts each have their unique vibrational frequencies. Higher frequencies are associated with positive emotions and states of being, such as love, joy, and enlightenment, while lower frequencies correspond to denser emotions like anger, fear, and sorrow. By understanding and working with this principle, individuals can learn to elevate their own vibrational state. Through practices such as meditation, affirmations, and energy work, one can raise their vibration, thereby attracting positive experiences and aligning themselves with higher, more refined states of consciousness. This also means that one's thoughts and emotions play a critical role in shaping their reality, as they emit vibrations that interact with the larger vibrational fabric of the universe. 4. The principle of polarity. The fourth principle, polarity, is summarized as everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. This principle explains that duality is an intrinsic characteristic of the universe, and all phenomena exist in pairs of opposites. Light and darkness, heat and cold, love and hate. These are all examples of polarities that, while seemingly opposite, are in fact extremes of the same continuum. The principle of polarity teaches that opposites are identical in nature but differ in degree. They are merely varying aspects of the same thing, and their distinction is only a matter of perspective. For instance, heat and cold are not fundamentally different but are rather degrees of the same energy. The same logic applies to other polarities like love and hate. They are two ends of the same spectrum of emotion. This understanding allows the Hermetic practitioner to transform one state into another by shifting their perspective or manipulating the degree of a particular polarity. This concept is closely tied to the practice of mental alchemy, where individuals learn to transmute negative thoughts and emotions into positive ones, transforming their internal state and, by extension, their external reality. By mastering the principle of polarity, one gains the ability to achieve balance and transcend the illusion of separation between opposites. 5. The principle of rhythm. The fifth Hermetic principle, rhythm, is expressed as everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall, the pendulum swing manifests in everything, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, rhythm compensates. This principle asserts that motion, change, and cycles are inherent aspects of the universe. Everything in existence, from the movement of the stars to the cycles of nature and even human emotions, follows a rhythmic pattern. The principle of rhythm describes the inevitable ebb and flow of life, the rise and fall of civilizations, the oscillation between positive and negative states, and the cyclic nature of existence itself. The pendulum of rhythm swings to the left and right, creating a balanced movement that affects all things. In the physical realm, this can be observed in the changing of the seasons, the tidal patterns of the ocean, and the biological rhythms that govern life forms. In the mental and emotional realms, this principle is seen in the cycles of moods, emotions, and thoughts. Understanding this principle allows one to anticipate and manage the ebb and flow of circumstances and internal states. Rather than becoming a passive observer or a victim of these natural cycles, the Hermetic practitioner seeks to harmonize themselves with these rhythms, learning to ride the wave when it is favorable and to maintain equilibrium when it shifts. Through mental discipline and awareness, one can rise above the effects of the pendulum swing, finding stability even in the midst of change. Moreover, this principle is integral to the concept of spiritual evolution. The soul's journey is also subject to these cycles, with periods of growth and enlightenment followed by times of challenge and introspection. By recognizing the rhythm inherent in this process, one can prepare for the challenges that come, understanding that they are part of a larger cycle that ultimately leads to growth. 6. The principle of cause and effect. The sixth principle, cause and effect, is stated as every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law, chance is but a name for law not recognized, there are many planes of causation but nothing escapes the law. This principle is a fundamental law of the universe, affirming that every action has a reaction and that nothing occurs by chance. Every effect we observe has a cause behind it, and every cause has an effect, creating an endless chain of events across all planes of existence. In the Hermetic framework, this principle not only applies to the physical world but also extends to the mental and spiritual realms. Thoughts, emotions, and actions are all causes that produce effects, shaping one's reality and experiences. The individual, therefore, has the power to influence their destiny by understanding and consciously applying this principle. By becoming aware of the thoughts and actions they set in motion, one can choose to create positive outcomes and minimize negative ones. This principle challenges the idea of randomness or luck, suggesting instead that what appears as chance is simply a consequence of unseen laws at work. From this perspective, mastering the principle of cause and effect involves learning to recognize and align oneself with these laws. By doing so, one can become the causer rather than the affected, taking control of their life rather than being subject to the whims of external forces. On a higher level, This principle also touches upon the concept of karma, which in many spiritual traditions is understood as the moral cause and effect that governs one's spiritual evolution. By cultivating positive causes, such as good deeds, kind thoughts, and spiritual practices, an individual can produce positive effects that aid in their growth and development. Conversely, harmful actions lead to negative consequences that must be faced and resolved. 7. The principle of gender. The seventh and final principle, the principle of gender, states, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This principle is not solely about physical gender but rather refers to the dual forces present in all things. The masculine and feminine energies, or yin and yang, are universal archetypes that represent polarity, balance, and creative power. They exist in all aspects of life and in all forms, from the physical to the mental and spiritual realms. Masculine energy is associated with attributes such as action, logic, assertiveness, and creation, while feminine energy relates to intuition, receptivity, nurturing, and the potential to give birth to new ideas or forms. In the physical world, this principle is evident in the biological differences between male and female, but it extends far beyond this into the realms of energy and spirit. The principle of gender emphasizes that both energies are necessary for balance and creation. In the creative process, the masculine energy acts as the initiating force, while the feminine energy serves as the receptive medium that nurtures and manifests the idea into form. This interplay of forces is seen in nature, in the creative acts of art and invention, and in the spiritual process of self-realization. In the Hermetic tradition, the mastery of the principle of gender involves balancing these two energies within oneself. It requires transcending the conventional understanding of gender as merely biological and instead recognizing it as a metaphysical force that operates within all individuals. Those who achieve this balance gain access to their full creative and spiritual potential, aligning themselves with the dynamic and generative forces of the universe. Interconnectedness of the principles. The seven Hermetic principles do not exist in isolation. Rather, they are interdependent and interconnected, forming a comprehensive metaphysical framework. Mentalism, the first principle, serves as the foundation, indicating that all phenomena, principles, and laws are aspects of the universal mind. Correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender are all expressions of this fundamental mental nature of reality. The principle of correspondence connects the various planes of existence, illustrating how the same laws manifest across different levels of reality. Vibration explains the constant state of motion that underlies all phenomena, linking mental and physical experiences. Polarity shows the duality inherent in everything, which is further clarified through rhythm, emphasizing the cyclical nature of change and movement. Cause and effect reveal the underlying order and causality behind all events, and gender embodies the interplay of dynamic and receptive forces necessary for creation. Practical application of Hermetic principles. Hermetic philosophy is not merely theoretical. It is intended as a practical system for mastering one's life and evolving spiritually. The seven principles offer a roadmap for individuals to understand and navigate the complexities of existence, providing tools to align with universal laws and achieve higher states of being. 1. Mental alchemy. By mastering the principle of mentalism, one can practice mental alchemy, transforming negative thoughts into positive ones, shifting perception and creating new realities. This form of alchemy is rooted in the understanding that thoughts are the foundation of reality, and by altering them, one can change their external circumstances. 2. Harmonizing with cycles. Understanding the principle of rhythm allows individuals to anticipate and harmonize with the natural cycles of life, whether they are emotional, spiritual, or physical. By recognizing these cycles, one can act in accordance with the natural flow, using the momentum of favorable periods and remaining balanced during challenging times. 3. Balancing polarities. The principle of polarity encourages the reconciliation of opposites within oneself. This practice, often called the middle path, involves finding harmony between extremes, such as light and darkness, action and inaction, intellect and intuition, leading to a balanced and integrated state of being. 4. Creating conscious causes. With the principle of cause and effect, individuals can take responsibility for their actions and thoughts, knowing they set into motion a chain of events. By consciously creating positive causes, they can shape their destiny and influence their environment in constructive ways. 5. Integration of gender energies. The principle of gender teaches the integration of masculine and feminine energies, allowing individuals to become whole and fully creative beings. This integration leads to a deeper understanding of the creative process and a more balanced and harmonious approach to life. In-depth exploration, the Hermetic Principles and modern spiritual practice. While the Seven Hermetic Principles provide an ancient framework for understanding the universe, their relevance extends into contemporary spiritual practices, psychology, and personal development. This section explores how these timeless principles can be integrated into modern approaches to spirituality, self-improvement, and even scientific understanding, demonstrating their enduring applicability and wisdom. 1. The Principle of Mentalism and Conscious Creation. The Principle of Mentalism lays the groundwork for what is often referred to today as conscious creation or the law of attraction. In modern spiritual communities, there is a widespread belief that thoughts and intentions shape reality. This idea is deeply rooted in the Hermetic concept that the all is mind, suggesting that by mastering one's mental state, an individual can influence and manifest their desired outcomes. Contemporary practices such as visualization, affirmations, and mindfulness meditation are modern expressions of this principle. By focusing the mind and cultivating positive, focused thoughts, individuals seek to align themselves with the mental fabric of the universe, consciously directing the flow of events in their lives. This process is often described as vibrating at a higher frequency, which ties into the principle of vibration, highlighting the interconnectedness of the Hermetic system. 2. The Principle of Correspondence and the Holographic Universe. The Principle of Correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above, finds a striking parallel in modern scientific and spiritual concepts, such as the holographic nature of the universe. Contemporary theories in quantum physics and cosmology propose that the universe is structured in a way where every part reflects the whole, much like a hologram. This perspective aligns with the Hermetic view that the microcosm, individual consciousness, mirrors the macrocosm, the cosmos, indicating that understanding one's internal world is key to understanding the external. In spiritual practice, this principle encourages introspection and inner work as pathways to transform and align with the greater cosmic order. Practices such as shadow work, inner child healing, and psychological introspection are rooted in the idea that by addressing the subconscious mind, that below, one can influence the conscious mind and even their external reality, than above. This creates a feedback loop where inner transformation leads to outer changes and vice versa. 3. The Principle of Vibration and Energy Healing. Energy healing modalities such as Reiki, acupuncture, and crystal therapy all operate under the assumption that everything vibrates and that by adjusting these vibrations, one can promote healing and balance. The principle of vibration underlies these practices, suggesting that different states of being, whether physical health, emotional balance, or spiritual clarity, correspond to different vibrational frequencies. By manipulating these frequencies through energy work, practitioners seek to restore harmony and elevate the individual's state. Additionally, sound healing using instruments like tuning forks, singing bowls, or chanting directly applies the principle of vibration. By introducing specific frequencies into the body's energy field, it is believed that imbalances can be corrected, leading to physical and emotional well-being. This reflects the Hermetic understanding that the universe is essentially a composition of vibrations, and by mastering the use of sound and energy, one can access higher states of awareness and healing. 4. The Principle of Polarity and Emotional Intelligence. In psychology and modern personal development, the Hermetic principle of polarity can be seen in the concept of emotional intelligence. The ability to recognize and navigate emotional opposites, such as anger and peace, love and hate, is central to emotional intelligence. By understanding that these states are not separate but are points on the same spectrum, individuals can learn to move between them with greater ease and intentionality. This principle also finds expression in the dialectical approach of cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) and dialectical behavior therapy (DBT), which teach individuals to balance opposite thoughts or emotions to achieve mental harmony. The Hermetic teaching that opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree informs this therapeutic approach, highlighting that transformation is often a matter of shifting perception and finding balance. 5. The Principle of Rhythm and Cycles of Life. Modern spiritual and psychological practices often emphasize the importance of recognizing and harmonizing with natural and personal cycles. The Hermetic principle of rhythm, which describes the natural ebb and flow of all things, is mirrored in the recognition of life stages, seasonal changes, and even the cyclical nature of emotions and mental states. For example, in astrology, a practice deeply influenced by Hermeticism, the cycles of the planets are seen as symbolic reflections of human experiences. Similarly, mindfulness and acceptance practices encourage individuals to recognize and accept the ebb and flow of their emotions without resistance, understanding that everything is transient. By aligning with these rhythms, people can cultivate resilience and equanimity, finding peace even in the midst of life's inevitable ups and downs. 6. The principle of cause and effect and the power of intention. The modern emphasis on the power of intention is a direct application of the principle of cause and effect. Spiritual traditions and self-help philosophies often teach that by setting clear intentions and taking deliberate actions, individuals create a chain of causality that brings about desired results. This principle reinforces the idea that individuals are not passive recipients of fate but active participants in shaping their destiny. In practical terms, this might involve setting goals, engaging in ritual practices that focus intention, or using affirmations to establish a cause that leads to a specific effect. By understanding that every action, thought, and emotion sets into motion a chain of events, modern practitioners align with the Hermetic view that nothing happens by chance, and that conscious, intentional living is a path to mastery. 7. The principle of gender and integrative healing. In contemporary spirituality, the principle of gender is often explored through the concept of balancing masculine and feminine energies within oneself, regardless of biological gender. Practices such as yoga, tantra, and holistic healing aim to harmonize these energies, leading to a state of unity and wholeness. For example, masculine energy, often represented as solar, active or logical, and feminine energy, represented as lunar, receptive or intuitive, are integrated to create a balanced, harmonious individual. Modern psychological theories such as Carl Jung's concept of the anima and animus also reflect the Hermetic understanding of gender. Jung proposed that each individual contains both masculine and feminine aspects, and the process of individuation, achieving psychological wholeness, requires integrating these energies. This mirrors the Hermetic teaching that both masculine and feminine principles are necessary for creation, balance, and spiritual growth. The Seven Hermetic Principles offer a profound and comprehensive system for understanding the universe and one's place within it. They provide the keys to unlocking the mysteries of existence, from the nature of consciousness to the mechanics of creation and spiritual evolution. By studying and applying these principles, the Hermetic student embarks on a path of self-discovery and transformation, seeking to align with the fundamental laws of the cosmos and realize their full potential as a conscious co-creator of reality. This ancient wisdom continues to resonate in contemporary spirituality and philosophy, serving as a timeless guide for those who seek knowledge, mastery, and unity with the universal mind. Through the mastery of these principles, one not only gains insight into the workings of the cosmos but also learns to navigate life with wisdom, balance, and purpose.